was going well. You got the job.
I got the job, but I think, you know, mostly...
Had he seen film? How did he know?
They had seen me as a performer a couple times at Second City, and were not interested. But he was taking Adam's word for it that my sketch packet was good. And by the way, no one's first sketch packet is good. They're always terrible.
Yeah, when you got there initially as a writer and performer?
As a writer, no, definitely as a writer. I started in...
How many women were in the room?
In the room, well, let's see, at the time, the female writers were me and a woman named Paula Pell.
Woo!
Yes. And a woman named Lori Nasso, and a woman named Cindy Caponera.
So the boys' club stuff was over completely?
You know, I think it was the end, the tail end of a very masculine era there. That was, as I say in the book, people were still kind of urinating in cups.
As guys do.
Yeah,
every day. Morning, noon, and night.
You know, people would hawk a loogie into carpet.
And the problem?
Yeah. And so it definitely had a different vibe in '97 than it did in 2005.
In the serious sense, how so? In the working sense, how so?
There were, the ratio of men to women was a little different, and the women in the cast were really funny, but they were the women in the cast still, as opposed to the dominant figures in the cast.
Right. And even it affected what went on the air, didn't it, in many ways, that people still thought it was funny all the time to have male cast members dressed up as women, maybe whatever you want.
Talk about this in the book. That the first show I was there was with Sylvester Stallone, and which was awesome. Then the big movie star to start with, and just have to go up and pitch ideas. And the one thing I remember about it was they did some Rocky monologue, and they needed someone to play Adrian for Rocky. And Sherry O'Teary, she's like, I want to do it. And she was little, and she looked like her, and she's from Philly, and she could sound like her. And somebody, and I don't know who because I wasn't privy to any of this at the time, somebody was like, no, we'll put Katana in the dress. Alright, and I love Katana, but I think Sherry would have been funny. And that was like an old school thing of like, well, a guy in a dress will be funnier. Will it? I don't know. And by the time we left, there's nobody that would have thought, you have like Maya Rudolph, Kristen Wiig, Amy Poehler, Rachel Dratch, no one would have thought like, you know what, let's be funnier to have just a guy pretend to be them.
Right.
It wouldn't have happened.
And you have a terrific riff on that you need a mix of people. You can't just have smart-ass Harvard kids, and you can't just have improvisers. How does that work?
Somehow Lauren Michaels knew instinctively that you needed kind of a bridge mix of Harvard guys. And there is one mistake so far that I found in the book is I say Robert Smigel went to Harvard, and I believe he went to Cornell. But I emailed him, I said, I'm sorry, I found a mistake in the book, and I said, you went to Harvard, and he said, you're kidding, I love it, I think that's Jewish already.
It doesn't work, I can.
So there were the Harvard guys who, read certain kind of well-structured pieces and stuff, and sometimes, oftentimes not necessarily the most topical pieces. There can be like a rethinking of the Mad Hatter's Tea Party from the Tea Party politics point of view, like fantastic things, and then you have the improv people who just want to wear like crazy noses and wigs and this kind of more visceral attitude, and it works when you have both. If you have too much of one or the other, it's not the same.
Did you get tired of Saturday Night Live? At one point you described Saturday Night Live as high school, but they never tell you when to graduate. You had to decide when to graduate.
You have to decide when it's time to go, usually. And it's funny because at the time you think like, oh, this is so hard, it's such a grind. And then you get a real job and you leave, and you're like, oh wait, we worked 20 weeks a year. For like 9 hours a week. I mean, you do work a lot of hours, but it's not like a job.
Right.
We were talking, I was on the Oprah show the other day, and Dana Carvey told a story about they were at this comedy SNL reunion in Aspen, and somebody, like, I don't know, it was like Myers or someone said, what's it like to work at SNL? He's like, it's like being shot out of a cannon. And Norm Macdonald was like, it's hard, but it's like being shot out of a cannon.